It's time to go home. To a place we once knew. A country of kindness and compassion, empathy and community, tolerance and generosity, integrity and hope. It's time to stand together in a place called America. The place we all call home. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris know the way. Let's go together. It's the only way we can go forward and build back better.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome to this Biden-Harris campaign event, South Asians for Biden GOTV rally with Maya Harris. Please welcome South Asians for Biden California State Chair, Harini Krishnan.
Hi, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce you to attorney, public policy advocate, and writer Maya Harris. Maya has been an influential voice at the intersection of politics, public policy, and civil rights for over 2 decades. A lawyer, policy advocate, and writer, Maya served as a senior advisor to 2 historic US presidential candidates, Secretary Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Senator Kamala Harris in 2020. She directed the Global Democracy, Rights, and Justice Program of the Ford Foundation and led the largest ACLU affiliate in the nation. While a visiting scholar at Harvard Law School and a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, Maya authored the groundbreaking report, Women of Color, a Growing Force in the American Electorate, documenting the prominence of women of color, especially Black women, in influencing political outcomes. She was a political and legal analyst and has published commentary in numerous media outlets and has been profiled in The New Yorker, Washington Post, and the Oprah magazine, among other publications. On a personal note, it has been one of my greatest honors to serve as a lead volunteer organizer for Senator Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. In that capacity, I had the opportunity to meet Maya at the Long Beach, California Democratic Party convention and saw firsthand the love, the respect, and the camaraderie between Maya and her sister, Kamala Akka. Maya has truly been a pillar of strength in Senator Harris's journey, first on her presidential campaign and now on the presidential ticket. As a South Asian mother of 2 daughters, I am forever grateful to Maya and Senator Kamala Harris for being the fierce, inspiring sheroes that they are, reminding young women around this country to never ask permission to lead, to be ambitious, and to aspire for the highest office. It is with great honor that I introduce you to Maya Harris.
Thank you, Harini. Oh goodness, that was such a wonderful, warm, very sweet introduction. So thank you so much. And thank you for not just the introduction, but for everything that you've been doing. You've been working so hard for so long, and we're just so appreciative for you. And hello, everyone else. I was just saying, this is such a quite a cast of characters, literally and figuratively. And I am actually feeling very hip and cool that I was included among this crowd. So I'm really happy to be here. Not only, you know, in that I feel pretty hip and cool to be included among this crowd, but most importantly, because I want to thank you all. I want to start by thanking you for all for one being here, but two, to thank you for everything you've been doing to help us elect Joe and Kamala. It is, a critical moment. And I guess that's why I want to thank you for everything you've done to this point, but also to say that as thankful as we are and as grateful as we all are, I'm actually here to ask you to do even more. I know you know the stakes. It's why you're here. It's why you've been here. And I know this isn't just a critical moment in our country. It's a critical moment in this campaign. We only have 11 days to go until Election Day, which means that we're in the home stretch, also known as we're running out of time, but it also means it's only 11 days. And I know that we can all do anything for 11 days. So I want you to keep two things in mind as we go forward over these next several days. One is that there's no doubt that AAPI voters, that you all could make the difference in this election. Like literally there's no doubt. There's so much power in our community. And if there ever was a time for us to flex the muscle that we have in our community, it is right now. And I have been talking at various events. I mean, we talk about how important every vote matters, every vote counts. This is like literally a fact. You can look at any state, and in particular, looking at the states that are, among some of the most critical for this election. When you take, for example, Pennsylvania, a state that we lost in 2016 by less than 1%. The AAPI community is 4% of the electorate in Pennsylvania. So we clearly can make a real difference there. In Michigan, which we lost in 2016 by less than 0.5%, the AAPI population there that's eligible to vote, okay? So I'm not just talking about the population at large. The population that's eligible to vote there is almost 4%. And there's example after example of key states that I could give you. I was just with folks in North Carolina last night, at another South Asian GOTV event for North Carolina. It was really terrific. And we actually have the opportunity there to elect the first statewide official in North Carolina of South Asian descent. And in 2016, Trump won North Carolina by about 173,000 votes. That's practically the exact same number of eligible AAPI voters in North Carolina today. And so I tell you that because we need to own and embrace and harness our power in this election. We need to do everything that we can do to make sure that our power materializes in this election in full force, because we really could be the difference. So that's the first thing that I want you to really keep in mind over the course, not just of this great program that you're going to have tonight, but as you leave for the weekend, and think about how you're going to spend your weekend and spend next week and spend the weekend after that as we roll into Election Day. The second thing is we have to remember and keep at the forefront the fact that we absolutely deserve to have leadership in the White House that respects our communities, that will fight for our communities, and that represents our communities. And I know that we don't have that in this White House. And I can actually assure you that we will have that opportunity with Joe and Kamala to be able to elect two people who have devoted their entire lives to public service, to making government work better for all people. Yes, to be able to elect the first Black woman as vice president, the first person of South Asian and Caribbean descent as vice president, the first ever Madam Vice President in United States history. So in addition to all of the experience and the passion and compassion and the caring and the actual plans that they will bring to the White House, Joe and Kamala represent an exciting future for this country. And the thing about it is that Kamala's name on this ticket isn't just historic in its own right. It's a sign of things to come. Our mother, you hear Kamala talk a lot about our mother. I talk a lot about our mom. I'll say to people, there's this, as people say, we are our mother's daughters. Literally, we are so much about us. We are our mother's daughters. Well, our mother taught us many, many things. But among the things that she taught us, she would always say to us that you two girls, you may be the first to do many things in life, but you better make sure that you're not the last. She had great expectations for us, but even greater expectations of us. And I've seen the way little Black and brown girls, really, I mean, all girls and boys too, have responded to Kamala, not just in this campaign, but every single time she's run for office, who see themselves in her and then see even greater possibilities for themselves. But the fact is that that is only going to be possible if we show all of our children, if we show our country that fairness and integrity and honesty and diversity still matter, and that these are things that are still worth fighting for, which is why we absolutely have to win this election. We have to win this election. And it's why it's so important that you're all here today. It's why, if you can't tell, we're so energized by your presence today. So you all can continue to call your friends and your neighbors and all the aunties and the uncles. In our family, mommy was the eldest, so all the chitties and the chittipas, let them know how important this election is to you, that you're reaching out to them personally. It matters so much to have someone individually reach out to another individual and convey to them why it matters so much to you that you would take the time to reach out to them, to not only tell them to vote, but to tell them why they really should be excited about voting for this ticket. Because we need to still, in some instances, answer questions. We may need to still, in some instances, persuade whoever needs to be persuaded. But we absolutely have to make sure that everyone has gotten themselves registered, to make sure that if they're planning to vote by mail, that they have everything that they need, or if they're planning to vote in person, to make sure that they have the resources, like at iwillvote.com, to help them make a plan and then encourage them to vote as early as they possibly can. We want people to vote as early as they possibly can. And you all really are the key. You are essential to us being able to get this done. Our communities are counting on you. Joe and Kamala are counting on you. We are all counting on you. I mean, no pressure, but yes, we are all counting on you. So I want to thank you for all that you're doing under the great leadership of Neha, our national director for South Asians for Biden, under the leadership of Amit, our national AAPI vote director. We have, such wonderful leadership who have emerged also in this campaign and are going to be doing, I'm sure, extraordinary things going forward. But under their leadership, you all have already done so much, and people are taking note of it. I mean, they're on the finance side, we're raising record numbers of dollars in the AAPI community. And the same thing in terms of on the more grassroots side, people turning up for phone banks and making calls and sending texts. It's incredible what we're doing. And we need to keep doing it and dig deep and leave everything on the field so that none of us wakes up the day after the election day and wishes that we'd sent one more email, one more text, made one more phone call. We really need to leave it on the field. And so I want to thank you for everything you've done, but I am also, I guess, thanking you in advance for all that I hope that you will do over these next 11 days. And just know that we are all so grateful to you, most especially Joe and Kamala. And so I guess with that, I would say, let's have a little fun tonight with Bollywood Squares, and then tomorrow get back to work so that we can really bring this thing home, make history, but even also more importantly, move our communities and our country forward by getting Joe and Kamala in the White House. So thank you to all of you. Thank you for letting me be here for a few minutes. And you all have a great time tonight. It looks like it's gonna be a great program. Thank you.
So I want to thank Maya for those wonderful remarks, and thank you all for joining us. We have such great panelists with us today, and we're so excited for tonight. We're 11 days out, and we need all your help that we can get. But before I go into my remarks, I just wanted to thank South Asians for Biden. Thank you so much to the National Director, Neha Dewan, Harini Krishnan, and so many others that have played such a pivotal part of this campaign for almost a year now. I remember that South Asians for Biden started in December, and they've just been such a force since then. So just wanted to thank Neha, Harini, and all the folks that have been so involved with the South Asians for Biden efforts. And we're so proud because South Asians for Biden is one of 15 API ethnic affinity groups that we have, in addition to our multiple state leadership councils. So we're so proud of the diversity that we have. We really built the broadest coalition, certainly within the API space in any presidential history and campaign. We also have been investing in a 7-figure investment in paid media across the API ethnicities. We have a team of over a dozen API directors nationally and across the country. We're also campaigning in about 19 API languages, and phone banking and text banking, obviously, which all of you will be doing after this event. So we're so proud of the work that the APIs for Biden has done, South Asians for Biden has done. And so with that, I'd like to introduce the National Director for South Asians for Biden, Neha Dewan.
Thank you so much, Amit. And honestly, so much of this just would not have been possible without Amit's assistance and, of course, APIs for Biden. So we are truly grateful for that. And as many of you know, South Asians for Biden is a national grassroots organization that has been around since December of 2019. And we've been dedicated to educating, engaging, and mobilizing the South Asian community to help elect the Biden-Harris ticket. Since our time back in December and January, there was just a few of us. We have now grown to over 20 chapters. We have approximately 10,000 members across the board. And one of the great initiatives that we also launched were, aside from our 20 chapters, state chapters, we have these national councils. So we have these, the councils, Indians for Biden, Bangladeshis for Biden, Pakistanis for Biden, and Nepalis and Bhutanis for Biden national councils that we thought were very important in terms of triaging outreach to those communities. So we wanted to make sure that we could be inclusive of everyone that made up the diaspora. And I'm so proud and so happy to report that's been very, very successful. We've been able to reach folks that we probably would not have been able to before. And, over the course of time between May and now, we have had, over 40 events, between the councils, the chapters, and us. And we also, I forgot to mention, have launched faith-based groups. So Hindu Americans for Biden and also Sikh Americans for Biden. So, we all sort of work together in this effort as one to be to make sure that we're electing the Biden-Harris ticket. The other thing that I'll also mention is that aside from being, members across the country and sort of holding hands, we truly are a family. It's about when somebody tells you that, look, I care about your children and I'm doing this for your children, they truly mean it. And I'll give you one quick example, because I know you're waiting for everybody else backstage in terms of what they have to offer. So our graphic designer from South Asians for Biden, who's also part of our social media team, Anjali Mehrotra, she sent my daughter a very, very special gift. And this was very meaningful. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is Kamala and Maya's Big Idea, written by Meena Harris. And what that said to me was that, I care about your daughter and I'm doing this for your daughter. And my daughter, when she looks up at the screen as Maya was seeing, she sees herself in somebody who looks like her. When she's reading books like this is meaningful to her, because I certainly didn't have that growing up. And for her, truly, she's never going to know anything other than, yeah, the sky's the limit. Of course I can be president. And this is the value of our community. We're doing this to make sure that this is a better country for all of us, for each other, for our children. So thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. I'm going to turn it over to the amazing actor and comedian, Nick Dani, to kick us off tonight. So enjoy the show, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you to South Asians for Biden for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am about to have a conversation about voting with two incredible people. So now I'd like to introduce Sheetal Sheth and Nina Davaluri. Hi, y'all. You there?
Hi. Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Sheetal Sheth, for folks at home, is an acclaimed actress, producer, author, and activist. She served in President Clinton's AmeriCorps and is currently on the advisory board of Equality Now and an ambassador for the Representation Project. Her first children's book, Always Anjali, was published to wide acclaim, became a bestseller, and is set to be a series. Nina Davaluri is a host, speaker, and advocate. She made history in 2014 as the first Indian American woman to become Miss America. Since then, she has been ardently advocating for cultural competency, philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and women's rights. My name is Nick Dodani, and I am wildly underqualified to be interviewing these two incredible women. Let's start out with a question for both of you. Sheetal, you take it first. Why did you decide to use your platform to encourage voting for Biden this cycle instead of being complicit in white supremacy with your silence?
Tough question. Look, I have been a political junkie my whole life. I wake up very inclined looking at the news, and I'm really tired of holding my breath every time I wake up. I'm really tired of the sleepless nights. I actually, whether I agreed with the politics or not, really found comfort in trusting that the checks and balances that we have in our system were there and they worked, and they have completely gone out the window. The democracy that we all know and believe is slowly being chipped away. Our country is in chaos. There's complete lawlessness. It makes me literally sick to my stomach. And so there is nothing I won't do to get the message out and to get people out to vote. It's the most important thing we can do right now.
Well said. Nina, same question. Why are you using your platform to encourage voting for Biden?
Yeah, my entry to politics was very different and unique. I actually started working with the Obama administration immediately after I won Miss America. And my platform was diversity and cultural competency. So I was able to actually do a lot of work with their administration, work on First Lady's campaign, Let's Read, Let's Move, as well as Let Girls Learn. And that's actually what introduced me to the documentary space as well. Did a lot of advocacy work with anti-bullying campaigns, Act to Change, also just traveling to Kenya and India on behalf of the State Department, advocating for women's equality and rights in education. So had a really, really incredible experience and felt just incredibly valued, incredibly, felt that our voices were being heard with this administration. And then I realized in 2016, everything just changed and went out the window, and all of the work and so many of the wonderful, people and programs and everything that we were working on and had in place just disappeared. And that was really, really disheartening to see. So, for me, I've always kind of been involved on this side, but I think everyone can agree here, even tonight, that this is probably the most important election that we will see in our lifetime.
Let's hope it's the most important and there is a worse one in our future. Clearly, you both have done so much to break barriers, to advocate for diversity, against bullying, for women. What does it mean to both of you to be casting your vote for a Black and South Asian woman on the ballot? Sheetal?
I think it's amazing, but that's not why I'm voting for her, to be honest. I'm not one of those people that's going to vote for someone because they're a woman or because of their background. We have a very well-earned Desi wall of shame. So
yeah,
just because she is, has South Asian in her is not why I'm voting for her. I'm voting for her because she's qualified and because she is more than capable. And I think she'll do a kick-ass job. And if anything, to reframe that a little bit, it's because of her backgrounds and the two rich cultures that she comes from that have shaped her. That is why she's so fabulous, because you can tell that these cultures that are so full of values and tradition and history have shaped who she is. And that is why she is amazing. And she remembers that. She knows what it's like to grow up like that. She sees the country the way most of us live it. And so for me, that's the important piece of this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, Sheetal. It's not because of her background, it's because of who she is and she is the most qualified person for this position. I truly do believe that. I think, kind of on the side of it, I actually just came out with an article on Refinery 29 on what it does mean on a personal level. And I think it's just icing on the cake, is how I like to put it, of seeing someone that is South Asian, seeing a name like Kamala Devi Harris on the ticket. I think that means something for me to see that, to see someone be the first. And it's also, in any field, it's never an easy position ever. And so I think, it's also, it's just, it's a difficult place, but it's also a very powerful place. So I completely believe she's up for the job and that she can absolutely do it.
And I think just to piggyback on what Nina's saying is, and I 100% agree with what she's saying. I think for so long, I think that one of the phrases that kind of irritates me is when I see people say, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And I'm like, if I believed that and lived my life like that, I wouldn't be doing anything I'm doing. So I would love to be like, if you can't see it, create it, just be it. We're not sitting around waiting for someone to give us permission to do what we want to do. And I think Kamala is a really great example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Candidly, I'm only voting for her because she's Black and brown. Otherwise, I'd be a Trump supporter. But to each their own. All right, we're going to do our last question for this panel. Please, for a moment, use your imagination. I am Chitra Auntie, your Trump supporting relative from 3 states over. You have 30 seconds to convince me to vote for Biden-Harris. Sheetal.
Well, listen, Auntie, I'm telling you, I know that you believe in the things that, you've told me you believe in your life, which is family, which is your children, which are the traditions that, make India what it is. And so there is no clearer choice than Kamala and Joe for you to vote for. Trump, well, I'm not even going to bring up his name.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Nina?
Chitra Auntie. I would ask you to think about our future generation, my children, your grandchildren potentially. What world do you want to see them raised in? Climate change matters. Women's rights matters. Our voices matter. And I think most importantly, human decency matters. And those are the values that I want to pass on to my, to the future generations to come.
Very, very well said, both of you. You're right. It's for our grandchildren, if I ever freaking have grandchildren. All right. Thank you both so much for joining me for this panel. Next, I have the honor of introducing Praveen, who is the co-chair of Virginia AAPIs for Biden.
Thank you, Nick. That's a tough act to follow in terms of moderating the next panel, but we'll do our best. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Praveen. I'm thrilled to be moderating our next panel with 3 incredible, accomplished South Asian actors and artists. I'm honored to be joined by Fawzia Misra, Iqbal Theba, and Faran Tahir. I'm going to do a brief bio of each of them. I mean, I can speak for hours about all they've accomplished. Fawzia Misra is a film and television actress, writer, producer, and comedian. She's known for her works such as web series, Kam Kardashian, Brown Girl Problems, and the film Signature Move. As an activist, Fawzia has focused on projects relating to LGBT community, particularly related to being a queer Muslim woman, to gain visibility for women and brown performers and find space for queer stories. Iqbal Theba is an accomplished actor renowned for playing the recurring role of Principal Figgins in the television series Glee for 6 seasons. He's appeared as a guest star in many television shows such as Ellen, Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends, ER, and The West Wing. You might have heard of that one. In addition, some of Iqbal's film work includes Driven, Basketball, Dancing at the Blue Iguana, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, and Playing for Keeps. Faran Tahir is a renowned actor best known for his roles as Raza in Iron Man and Captain Robo in Star Trek. Faran has guest starred in a number of television shows, including The Practice, NYPD Blue, West Wing, 24, Lost, Grey's Anatomy, and JAG. Faran has won many awards for his work in theater and film. Thank you all for being here this evening. Let's get right to our questions because I know our audience is eager to hear from you. Let's talk about something hopeful and positive. What do we hope for when we vote for Biden and Kamala Harris? What's that vision of America we're trying to support on November 3rd? Fawzia, we'll start with you.
Well, I have to say, I don't have a blonde wig. I barely have any black hair left. So I don't think anyone can compete with Nick. The best thing I can do is, give you a little encouragement to vote here. The thing that I'm hoping for is a future that we're excited about, one that isn't full of fear, shame, ridicule, racism, predatory behavior, And quite honestly, as a queer Muslim South Asian person, I feel scared about the future that we have been living in, the present that we've been living in. I like to say we've been living in a world of lava, and the current president is a huge part of that problem. And, voting, if you haven't voted already, voting is essential. Voting for Biden and Kamala. I can't say Kamala auntie, I have to say Kamala ben, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about voting for Biden and Kamala, because that's the only way we're gonna have any hope. You're muted, Praveen.
Iqbal, turning it over to you.
Well, of course, there's that we have issues of racism and condoning of it. Of course, we can talk about it, and of course, you can say that we're all here because we have a vested interest. But I would like to say that I'm so much more worried about the philosophical and intellectual health of the country. The way we are ignoring science, the way we are ignoring history. Imagine, in 1876, we said, all men are created equal. Of course, at that time, the circle was really small and only white men could vote and had the privileges. And then, of course, as we move on, we say, okay, black people, you guys can come in, just men, okay? And then, a few decades later, we have women. So the idea is to keep including, other people in this huge, wonderful, country that we have, created for ourselves. One of the wonderful, largest, amazing experience in the human history. So the idea is to just continue to be more inclusive and become more compassionate and more accepting of the other, and of course, be more logical about things. Respect science and all those wonderful things, and respect people who are intelligent. But all this fake news and the murder of language. I want a president who speaks better English than my 14-year-old daughter. Or when she was 6, she spoke in a better English. So it's all gone crazy, and it seems to me that Kamala and Joe are the people who can put us back on that track where we were, where we are, trying to include other people and have more respect for other cultures and countries and people. And that's why I'm going to vote for Joe and Kamala.
Thank you. Faran, your thoughts?
Hi, well, first of all, we're not going to talk about anybody's hair because of how I look. Putting that aside, look, I think I've been saying this for a while, that somebody much smarter than me once said that a presidency doesn't change a person's character. It reveals a person's true character. And if that's the case, Donald Trump has been revealing his character from day one. From the Muslim ban to calling African countries S-hole countries, to calling COVID-19 Kung flu or the China virus, or even calling Kamala Harris a monster. This is the true Donald Trump that has been revealed to us over and over and again. And this is not going to change. So yes, there is that issue of making sure that we go back to a more
I think we may have lost Faran.
Hopefully he's able to hop back on in a second. In the meantime, the answers that we received from all three of you, I felt like there was something deeply personal about the election, something that you felt like your experiences have guided you and led you to the contrast in this election. Can we talk a little bit about what the election means to you personally, especially in respect to the communities that you belong to, that you identify with? What's at stake for those communities in this election?
Well, I can say that personally. So 2020 has been a big year for so many people. And for me, it's the year I got married to my partner, who is a woman. And it is also a year that threatens to take away the right for me to be married to that very same woman. And I'm voting and fighting to keep those rights, not just for me, but for everyone. And it's not just about having marriage, it's about having the right, if one of us gets sick, to be there by each other's side. It's those basic rights of human decency. I'm voting for that. And also I think about the fact that, you know, our current president is really, his intention is to divide, and not just people over there. His intention is to divide us. You know, this is South Asians for Biden, right? There's so much about all of us in the subcontinent coming together and coming together as a unified voice. And that's what's really powerful, is if we all were able to just, you know, have that voice as a collective, we have so much power and so much potential. And, you know, and I think if we stay on the track we're on, and not even I think, it's just, we're just going to stay divided. And so this is such our opportunity to unify in a really beautiful, beautiful way.
I mean, yeah.
Great way to put it.
Yes. I mean, you know, on a personal level, I have two kids. You know, I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old in my household, and I want them to be safe when they grow up. And it really scares me when, you know, someone in the White House, you know, condones racism and never really explicitly condemns racism. And oh, Faran is back. You know,
I'm back,
I'll let him
yes.
talk. I'll let him talk. And by the way, I was going to say, thank you for using an old picture of me where I look like Faran's son, even though I'm pretty sure that he's older. I mean, I'm older than him, I think. You know, but thank you.
Let's not go there either. Yeah, I'm as old as hills, but we'll leave that aside. No, but my point was that, look, given all of that, it's not just about Donald Trump. It is also about a vision for an America where we can all thrive. And that is why I believe in Joe and Kamala, because it's not just about removing Donald Trump. It is also moving us forward, getting us to the place where we can live in dignity and respect, and with a true sense of being an American, which is not based on color, creed, gender, sexual orientation, any of that. That is the America that we are striving for. That is the America that I'm striving for. That is the America that I want my children who are of mixed race to be living in. That is why this particular election is so important. And I know sometimes I say this all the time, that people talk about, you know, can we be a patch in the American quilt? I say no. I say we need to be part of the thread of the American fabric. And the only way we can do that is by raising our voice when it needs to be raised, to make sure that we are always there, not being complacent, but being part of the conversation, have a seat at the table. And for us, for Kamala Harris to be one of those people who comes from the history and the experience that we have had and that my kids are going through, this becomes the most important election ever. And we need to make sure that every one of us, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's our uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, children, whoever, we need to make sure that they go out, because we can raise a lot of money. But in the end, what is going to count is our vote. And that is the power that we have, and we must exercise it.
Hear, hear.
Beautifully said. I think we're just about at time, unfortunately. I mean, I wish we could stay and get your thoughts for hours. I want to thank all three of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here tonight. And now we'd like to hear from a few more faces that you may recognize about saving the soul of our nation.
Hi, I'm Karen David.
My name is Parvesh China.
My name is Asif Manvi.
Sandal Ramamurthy.
Rizwan Manji.
My name is Sakina Jaffrey, and like Kamala Devi Harris, I am a proud South Asian.
I'm a proud South Asian.
I'm a proud South Asian.
And I am so excited to be supporting the first ever South Asian candidate to be on the presidential ticket.
The 2020 election is so crucial for all of us.
In 2016, Donald Trump lost the presidential election by 3 million votes.
That's right. He lost.
Donald Trump won some swing states by just 2 votes per precinct.
2 votes. It's you and me.
And we've all been paying the price ever since.
Over the past 4 years, we have witnessed an assault on facts, science, and our very sense of decency.
We are 6 months into a raging pandemic with no national testing or treatment strategy in place.
Facing record-breaking unemployment.
Amidst national protests calling for racial equality.
It's time we ask ourselves,
how much more of this can we take?
That's why I'm asking you to support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris this November. Because
facts matter.
Science matters.
Public health matters.
Climate change matters.
We're on fire.
Black lives matter.
Yeah, I know I'm brown. Black lives matter.
Women's rights matter.
LGBTQI+ lives matter.
Indigenous rights matter.
Immigrants matter.
Freeing the children in cages matters.
We have to say that. Can you believe that? Ma, Papa?
Protecting Social Security and Medicare matters.
I know, because they're going to be asking me to...
Healthcare for all matters.
Prison reform matters.
Honoring the promise of the Statue of Liberty matters.
Yeah, to a child of immigrants, that matters.
Common sense gun control matters.
Standing up to white supremacists matters.
The Supreme Court matters.
The John Lewis Voting Rights Act matters.
Standing up to authoritarian dictators matters.
Preserving our democracy matters.
Protecting the integrity of our elections from foreign influence, it matters.
We need you to make sure you have a plan to vote in the upcoming election.
Like right now.
No, seriously, now. Do you want to stop the video? Check your registration status? No one would mind.
That's why I'm asking you, Uncle G, and I'm asking you, Auntie G, to please go out and vote this November and support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
And help restore the soul of this nation.
My dear fellow South Asians, please go and vote. Please vote for your values and what you truly believe in.
Every vote counts.
Hello, me again. I really should have worn makeup in that video, huh? So we have another exciting segment for you with the amazing cast of Indian matchmaking on Netflix, which I'm sure everyone has seen. I certainly have. Do we have all the cast members on? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna introduce them real quick and then we're gonna dive into a fun game. First, we have with us Manisha Das. Manisha is an occupational therapist currently working in public health research for a global nonprofit in North Carolina. Next, we have Ravi Guru Singh. Ravi is a writer and lawyer based in New York City and from Brooklyn, New York. He has an impressive comedy resume. Okay, this is far too long for me to read. Next up is Jay Wadhwani. Jay works in products at Macy's, specifically beauty products for the digital shopping experience, i.e. his attempt at learning more about what women want. Jay, did you write that? All right. Next is Vinay Chadha. Vinay is from New York and works as the director of ghosting for a boutique. Director of finance for a boutique fitness company, Physique 57. He thoroughly enjoys fitness and is willing to try anything once. That's obviously clear. Next, we have Dilip Idasani. Dilip is a native New Yorker working in tech product management. Before the pandemic, he could be found traveling the world or frequenting local bars and yoga studios, but now he relaxes by hiking or cooking. Fascinating. Finally, we have Shekhar Jayaraman. Shekhar is a lawyer from Cincinnati, Ohio. He was a Hillary Clinton turned Obama delegate at the 2008 Democratic National Convention, representing Ohio's 2nd Congressional District. All right. And again, I'm Nick Dodani. How many of you have watched Hollywood Squares on the Game Show Network? I personally have never seen it and I'm fully reading a script. Tonight, we're going to play our own version of this game called Bollywood Squares. It's Hollywood Squares, but Bollywood, you get it. I'm going to ask each of these amazing folks a question to see how well they know Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right, let's do this. First, we're going to start out with some questions about Kamala, Auntie. Manisha, this first question is for you. Kamala's mother and Mindy Kaling used to keep all the spices in their home in what kind of containers?
Weren't they coffee containers? Like folders, however you say that word.
Oh, actually, I'm supposed to give you options.
Taster's choice. Yeah.
Yes, this is multiple choice. This is a multiple choice game. A, Tupperware containers. B, ceramic bowls. C, Taster's Choice coffee containers.
You had one job, Nick. Sorry.
I know. I know. It's fair. You know, we're not all good at our jobs here. All right. What was your answer, Manisha?
Taster's Choice coffee containers.
That is correct. It says here that I'm supposed to wait for you to say something funny.
Oh, I'm not very funny.
That's not true. You're delightful, but I can keep going. Next, going to you, Jay. According to her memoir, when Kamala was learning French in middle school, she joked that she felt like blank. Here are your options. A, toot, toot, toot. B, quack, quack, quack. And C, meow, meow, meow.
You know, that makes a
being forced
lot
to
of
read
sense to
this.
me, actually. I was like really resonating with those answers, but I think the answer is quack, quack, quack. So I'm going to go with duck for fun.
That is correct. That is correct. I'm glad we know that about our future vice president. Dilip, my man, you are a connoisseur of music. So let me ask you this question. Which song played at the end of Kamala Harris's VP acceptance speech? A.
Ooh. Okay, good. I got.
Or do you know? Do you know?
No, I have no.
Okay. All right. A. YMCA. B. Roar by Katy Perry. Or C. Work That by Mary J. Blige.
Ooh, I think Trump has YMCA on lockdown. So I'm gonna go with Mary J. Blige.
Nice, you got it right. All right. Now we move on to Uncle Joe. Let's see how well you know Uncle G. Ravi, we'll start with you. Everyone knows that VP Biden loves his ice cream. What is Joe Biden's favorite flavor of ice cream? A, chocolate chip. B, kulfi. C, Rocky Road.
You know, if Joe actually liked Kofi, I would like him even more. But I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess a guy from Scranton likes Rocky Road.
You are incorrect.
Oh my God,
Man.
hey, first wrong answer.
A question for the organizers: do we kick him out now? Like how? Like
No.
do we turn off his camera, or I guess we'll just keep going. The correct answer was chocolate. Yeah, let's mute. Let's mute him. The correct answer was chocolate chip. I wonder if he's ever had Kofi. If not, that's going to be my first request. Vinay, you look like you know your movies. So here is a question for you, Vinay. What is Joe Biden's favorite movie? A.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm having a fight with my sister right now, so I'll be right back.
Oh, classic. And honestly, too soon. Too soon. Your choices are A, Om Shanti Om, B, Chariots of Fire, and C, Field of Dreams.
You know what? I actually think that his favorite movie is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's a secret answer D, which is K3G, because he loves Bullet Julia the way I love it. But if I remember my history correctly, I think I remember him and Palin having a debate in 2008 where he did say that B, Chariots of Fire, was his favorite movie.
Well, that was a really long way of saying B, Chariots of Fire.
I know.
That is correct. That is.
You gotta own my screen time.
Okay, Shaker, this last question is for you.
I'm ready.
What did Joe Biden tell his first wife's mother when she first met him and asked what he wanted to do for a living? I'm going to say that again. What did Joe Biden tell his first mother-in-law when they first met? What do you want to do for a living? This question is weirdly worded, but you get what I'm saying?
Sounds like an LSAT question, but yeah, I think I got to figure it out.
A, become a lawyer. B, become a senator. C, become president of the United States of America.
Well, he is a lawyer, so my initial guess would be lawyer, but I'm going to go with president.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Are you sure?
Positive.
You are correct.
All right, Nick, who's
How?
the winner?
What was that, Manisha?
Who's the winner?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me scroll. Okay, guys, that concludes our game. Thank you for playing. I hope you learned some fun facts about, okay. Let's see, who, only one person got it wrong, right, Rubby? So everyone wins except for Rubby. And
Hey.
Rubby, do you have anything to say?
I just want to give you props for your hoodie. What is it? What is on there? What does it say?
Vote for Auntie.
That's dope. That's
here. Hang on one second. Here, let me do something for you.
All right.
You can read it.
Oh, okay. Vote for Auntie.
For Auntie.
I love that. I love that. Nice. That's all I have to say for today.
Thank you. Your outfit is also acceptable. I hope all of you have voted. And for those of you who have not, please go to iwillvote.com to find all the information you need to vote. We have just 11 days to make a difference. And these next 11 days will affect the next 11 years, and probably the next 11 decades. All right. So let's do this thing. Thank you all so much for joining me. I promise I'm actually a nice person in real life. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Anjali Taneja, this is not Spanish, a talented jazz, Sufi, and classical vocalist.
Hi, I'm Anjali. I'm so glad to be here to be able to support this incredibly important platform, especially right now. I'm a second-generation Indian American. I actually minored in public policy at Princeton, and I'm a current public policy student at Georgetown. So I'm very passionate about inclusivity, and I think it's very important that we celebrate all these individual voices that make up our larger community. I like to do that through music, so I'm gonna do kind of a mashup of an R&B song and a song in Punjabi. So I hope you like it, and make sure you go vote.
I put my feelings on safety, so I don't go shooting where your heart beat. Cause you take the bullet trying to save me, then I'm left to deal with making you bleed. There's a whole lot of love and trying to waste it, like we be running a mile and never make it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna taste it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna face it, yeah. I'm done tripping. Said I've been sipping, that's how I control this feeling you keep giving. You keep on hitting it up. Baby, it's your love, it's too good to be true. Baby boy, your love got me tripping on you. You know your love is big enough, baby, trip up on you. Yeah, it's big enough, got me tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. My bad. You know I ain't cool when I ain't waiting, but I act a fool when I don't get it. And I'm steady bruising just to say this, but I tripped on your love, now I'm addicted. There's a whole lot of love and trying to waste it, like we be running a mile and never make it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna taste it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna face it, yeah. I'm done tripping. Said I've been sipping, that's how I control this feeling you keep giving. You keep on hitting it up. Baby, it's your love, it's too good to be true. Baby boy, your love got me tripping on you, yeah. हो जिंद माही आ जावे, ओ सीने ला जावे, हो दिल विच अग जो तू लाए, उसने बुझा जावे, उसने बुझा जावे। के दसा की महसूस करा जदों कोल तू होवे, ओ मेरा दिल ना यूं लगदा एक पल भी जदों दूर तू होवे। के दसा की महसूस करा जदों कोल तू होवे, हो मेरा दिल ना यूं लगदा एक पल भी जदों दूर तू होवे। मैं खाली तन्हा रोवे तेरे वे होना तड़पा सजना उसने बुझा जावे उसने बुझा जावे There's a whole lot of love and trying to waste it like we be running a mile and never make it my bad my bad my bad yeah 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 oh, yeah my bad my bad my bad yeah 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 yeah
Hi, everyone. Praveen again. I don't know about you guys, but all of that, Nick, the cast of Indian Matchmaking, everything just fired me up. I'm honored to serve as one of the co-chairs for Virginia AAPIs for Biden. And I just wanted to share a little bit about our efforts here in Virginia and how folks can help. South Asians are the largest of the AAPI ethnic groups here in Virginia. And the energy and passion they have for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be what keeps Virginia blue once again. Early voting has started here. Over 1.7 million people have already voted, with over 660,000 people casting a ballot by mail. In places like Fairfax County, where we have a large South Asian population, over 9,400 people per day are exercising their right to vote. Early voting in Virginia is easy and convenient. You can vote early through October 31st and visit iwillvote.com/Virginia for polling locations and times. In addition, if you'd like to aid our voter protection efforts, here, please go to va-dems.org/VO Pro Volunteer to find information on being a poll observer, a Virginia voter hotline operator, a voter protection campus captain, or a voter protection locality liaison. We can't do it without everyone's help. In just over 10 days, Virginia will join the rest of the nation in helping elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Just how excited are we? Take a look at this past weekend in Northern Virginia before we hear from our neighbors in Pennsylvania and North Carolina.
Hi, sorry for the delay there. I'm Vinod Thomas. I'm the IAPI State Director here in North Carolina, just south of Praveen in Virginia. Early vote, just like in Virginia, is well underway here. Okay, going into today, just shy of 2.7 million people had voted. After today, and that's not counting the day's numbers and tomorrow's numbers, we're expecting by the end of this weekend over 3 million people, 3 million North Carolinians to have voted. Early vote's going on, but we really need to keep pounding. And that's one of the things we really want to stress today. I have a friend of mine who was telling me earlier today that if he had $1 for everyone who said that they were very concerned about the race, but hadn't done anything, he'd be able to start his own super PAC. Just earlier today, I was talking to somebody, and this happens to be several times a day when people find out that I'm working on the Biden-Harris campaign. They tell me how nervous they are, how scared they are. They look to me for some sort of reassurance that things are going to be okay. And what I ask them is like, okay, other than watching the news, what are you doing? Did you sign up for a phone bank shift? Did you sign up for a text bank shift? Did you do any of that? And it's unbelievable the number of people that say they haven't done anything. Please get involved and help. South Asians for Biden have been doing an incredible job phone banking into North Carolina every Saturday. I'm dropping my right here in the chat. So if anyone has questions, can volunteer to do a phone bank, a text back, any way to help turn out the vote in this crucial swing state, please contact us. North Carolina is coming down to the wire, and we need all the help we can get.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harini, and I am the Pennsylvania AAPI State Director. And so Vinod kind of took it off in terms of we need everyone to mobilize into action. We have 10 days left starting tomorrow to make sure that we deliver a win for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. In Pennsylvania, so far, we've had over 1 million ballots. Democrats have submitted over 1 million ballots and requested 1.8 million more. And so far, the return rate is 55%. So we really need to raise it up. And this means the phone conversations that you have over the weekend, over the next 10 days, can really push people to the polls. And so far, you know, people volunteering, whether that's 2 hours of phone calls or in-person socially distant canvassing, that's what's really made the difference here in Pennsylvania. So we're really counting on folks. And our early voting period ends on Tuesday, October 27th. So basically what that means is if you want to vote early in person, you should do it by Tuesday at 5 p.m. this coming Tuesday. And then of course on election day, the polls are open November 3rd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So make sure you text and let all of your Pennsylvania friends know.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Truly thank you to all of the amazing celebrities, artists, and activists who joined us tonight. I just want to remind you, we have 11 days left. So whatever it takes, whether it's phone banking, text banking, dropping literature, speaking to your friends and family, making sure that they're voting, that's all we need you to do in the next 11 days. We have this weekend, we have next weekend. South Asians for Biden has 4 phone banks this weekend, 5 next weekend. Please visit us at southasiansforbiden.org/volunteer for all of these different opportunities. You have the next 4 years to do whatever you want. Just please give it your all in the next 11 days.